Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Mexican coming to you guys with a brand new video. And today I wanted to go over the Detroit Red Wings' current pipeline, goaltending prospect pipeline. And I wanted to go over this a little bit because there's been ever since Osgood and Howard were a tandem, there's been a lot of speculation and concern over Detroit's goaltending. Now, I'm aware goaltenders are voodoo. They are the biggest question mark in hockey in general, you know. So it's always going to be difficult. Like, not every team can have an elite level goaltender. Like, not every team is going to have an Ilya Sorokin, an Igor Shesterkin, Vasilevsky. You know, they're not going to have those types of goalies in every team. You just can't. Connor Hellebuck, Gibson back in his heyday, Carter Hart. So what you need to do is swing for the fences, essentially. You know, you've got to take swings in later rounds or whenever the best possible goaltender left on the board is. And Detroit's done a good job of that in recent years, i.e. Steve Yzerman has, because I don't think Ken Holland I don't think Ken Holland's drafted a goalie. Well, he's probably drafted a few goalies. Like, I think he drafted Lethman, maybe. I can't remember. But, yeah, Yzerman's been really solid at drafting quality goaltenders, or who are supposed to be quality goaltenders, or goaltenders who can pan out, and they're not just drafting a goaltender just to draft a goaltender. So, I want to start with the obvious one, Sebastian Cossa. Now, there's been a lot of question marks about Sebastian Cossa for a while, and that is his consistency. He is it doesn't help that Detroit traded down or traded up to get him. You know, there was two goaltenders in that draft that were predicted to go one, and that was Cossa and Wallstedt. And a lot of people thought that Wallstedt was the better pick. At the time, he was more technically sound. He was, I guess, to an extent, more NHL ready, but you're never going to put a goaltender up in their draft year. It's just never going to happen. So it was a bit of a shock to everybody when we took Sebastian Cossa, because Sebastian Cossa is an uber talented goaltender. Don't get me wrong. Sebastian Cossa has the possibility to be an elite level goaltender. The problem is he was not nearly as far in his development as Wallstedt was. Now, things have changed a little bit with Sebastian Cossa. He was incredible down in Toledo last season. Obviously, that Toledo team was stacked, but he played really well. He had, I think it was a 15 or 17 stretch undefeated streak there. So he played fantastically. He didn't have the best showing or really a good showing at all in the prospect tournament, but that was the prospect tournament. And right now he's killing it in Grand Rapids. Yes, they've only played 2 games, but his first game, he saved 41 shots off of 41. Like, he got a shutout in his first Grand Rapids game, so hopefully he can keep that momentum up and show that he is ready to take the next step. I think he'll probably be in Grand Rapids for another year or two, like this year and next season. That's what I think is going to be likely, seeing as we still have Husso for, I think, 2 more years, and I think we have Lyon for another year, and whatever happens with Reimer. So there's potential that he can come up next season, obviously. And if we look at his stats, he's looking like he's going to be ready fairly soon. Obviously, his AHL stint last season didn't go very well, but if you just look at his stats in general, in the WHL, 921 save percentage, 941 save percentage, 913 save percentage, 917 in the Canada U20s, although he did lose that starter spot, so he only played one game. And then with the Toledo Walleye, he played fantastically, even in the playoffs, fantastically. And now, so far, he's, it wasn't a shutout, my bad. At least, it wasn't a shutout, my bad. I fucked that up. I misread the score. They still won, though. But Sebastian Cossa's looking fantastic so far, and hopefully he can keep that up. But a lot of people with the question marks behind Cossa, you know, we need Cossa insurance, essentially. You can't just have one goaltender in your pipeline and bank on him. So in the 2023 draft, Yzerman and the Red Wings chose Trey Augustine as their first second round pick. 18 years old, 6'1", so very short for a goaltender, but he's very technically sound. I believe it was Evan from the Wingwold podcast who said that he's Wallstead light, and it's very true. He's basically Wallstead light, and if you look at him, he's good. You know, he was fantastic in the U18s. He suffered a little bit in the U20 World Championship, but those were some stacked teams he was going up against anyways. And then at Michigan State, so far he's got a .903 save percentage. He's committed there for this season at least, and he'll probably be there for another year or two before he maybe goes into the WHL and stuff like that. He's only 18, so you got to give the kid time to develop. But yeah, he is COSA insurance realistically, but it's not just COSA insurance. You can't just, like I said, you can't just have one goaltender in that pipeline and expect them to be the guy, because goaltenders, like I said earlier, are voodoo. They are the ultimate question mark in hockey. And so you could have the most, like Wallstead, he's considered an elite goaltender, so he could come in, be an elite goaltender, and then just tank at the NHL level. You know, goaltenders can look fantastically for every time they play. Like here, you can see here with Augustine, .919 save percentage in the Honey Baked 14 U14, but .891, .899, .911, .882 in the U18, .928, .940. Like he's putting up above 900 numbers consistently, but at the same time, that doesn't fucking matter. Like, yeah, it matters to an extent where this kid's got talent that you can build on and make him an NHL caliber goaltender, but it's not guaranteed. So having Augustine in the pipeline as well as COSA is fantastic. But one guy that I think a lot of Detroit fans just keep forgetting, which is fair because he was a late draft pick, a very late draft pick, Carter Gylander. Carter Gylander has been playing phenomenally. He's 22 years old, 6'5". He's still currently unsigned by the Red Wings. I think this is the last year that they have before he goes to free agency or before another team can pick him up. And he's been playing really good. I don't think he's ever going to be starter material realistically, but if you look at how he's been playing, he played for Colgate University the last few years. And he had a .901 save percentage, .908 save percentage, .914 save percentage, and a .918 save percentage. And, I mean, granted, that was just 4 games. But if you look at his playoff performances, sure, these are, like, amateur leagues and stuff like that. .955, .813 in one playoff game, stuff like that. But he does look really good, realistically. And I believe he won MVP in the NCAA tournament at one the last season. I could be wrong on that. So let's see. Yep, NCAA ECA tournament MVP, NCAA ECA champion, and NCAA ECAC all tournament team. So he's performing really well. Like I said, do I think he'll be a starter? No. Is there potential he could be? Yes, there's definitely potential he could be a starter in the NHL. But I do believe that as a 7th round pick, because he was picked in the 7th round, I think he was maybe Detroit's last draft pick or the second to last. But he's playing at a level that you don't normally see from 7th round draft picks in general. Now, yes, you've had many, many good, you're going to have many, many good points of, Lundqvist and whatnot who have been drafted in rounds 5, 6, 7 and just gone on to be elite goaltenders. That's definitely possible, and it's in the cards for Gylander. But I do believe that Gylander can put up a fight against Augustine and COSA. I genuinely do. I don't know if Detroit's considering him or if they're just going to let him, lose, or they're just going to lose the rights, want to lose the rights to him, stuff like that. But I personally believe that Carter Gylander is someone that Detroit should take a swing on to at the very least be a potential backup. Because, yes, I know you don't draft players with the intention of them being backups, really, or, you just don't have that. But Carter Gylander, I don't think it would be a bad idea for Detroit to sign him and train him to be, the backup to either COSA or Augustine. Or, like, I believe I've talked about this in the past, I might not have. Realistically, if you look in the pipeline, out of the three of these guys, one or two of them is not going to pan out. Statistically, it's just not going to happen. But if you sign them and two or all three of them pan out, you can trade them. Now, you don't draft somebody with, the idea of trading them. That just doesn't happen. You draft them because you want them to be on your team. But you can only have so many goalies. And if all three of your top goaltending prospects are elite to or borderline elite goaltenders or NHL starter caliber, well, then you can throw them into a trade deal to get somebody who, everyone wonders, where's Detroit going to get their goals? Yes, we have DeBrincat. Yes, we have Raymond. Yes, we have Larkin. But those three aren't going to be enough to get us to a Stanley Cup alone. So, maybe, just maybe, if Gylander or Augustine or Kosa or all three of them work out, put them in a package deal with another team to maybe get a goal scorer, say you sign Gylander and say Kosa, say all three of them work out, just for continuity's sake. All three of them work out. Kosa, you've already said, is going to be your guy. But now you've got two other starter-level goaltenders. Well, put one or two, both of them together maybe, or package one of them in a deal with Winnipeg and Kyle Connor. Just spitting things out there. That's not going to happen because they have Hellebuyck. But that was just to make a point. Regardless, I do believe Gylander can make a case for himself. Trey Augustine obviously can make a case for himself. Sebastian Kosa is holding on to that top spot as best as he can, and he's proven that he can do it. So that's what I want to talk about today, guys. Because a lot of people don't talk about the pipeline for Detroit's goaltending because it's been dry for a while. For a while, it was just Kosa and Gylander, but now you've got Augustine. Obviously, you've got Bednar and Lethman that are down in the AHL and ECHL. You've got Hutchinson now, for Christ's sake. You've got so many other goaltenders now, but as far as prospects go, that pipeline's been dry for a while. They drafted another goalie in high school this year, but I didn't want to put him in there because he's at a very low level of hockey. It's high school. So, very low level of hockey. You're not going to learn anything from that. But all three of these guys have played college to professional level hockey, for them more or less, Like I said, Trey Augustine played against some of the best prospects in his draft class. Gylander, same thing, NCAA, which is pretty much pro, almost. It's like one tier below pro, which is like AHL. And then Sebastian Kosa has obviously played in the AHL, ECHL, WHL, and soon the NHL, hopefully. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about Detroit's goaltending pipeline, because it has been a topic on my mind that I don't think a lot of people have actually talked about. Or I think people have probably talked about it, I just haven't seen it. Or, they only just focus on Sebastian Kosa and now Trey Augustine, but don't give Gylander any, the light of day. But because I personally think Gylander could turn out to be something. So, yep, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is, as always, the Mexican Canadian, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.